Okay, there are two NFL playoff games that we want to talk about. Um, Browns and the Texans is the first one. Cleveland, very very similar, I feel like, in vibes to where our Detroit Lions are. Of like they got over the hump, they're in the playoffs. We have seen the Browns have good seasons more recently than we have seen Detroit have good seasons. We haven't seen them do it with Joe Flacco at quarterback. I mean, what a shift from where Cleveland thought they would be at the beginning of the year. This is an elite defense though against a rookie quarterback making his playoff debut who has been phenomenal. I mean, CJ Stroud was so good this season. So do you go advantage defense here or do you go advantage CJ Stroud?
I think I go advantage defense here. And look, CJ Stroud has had an amazing season just as a quarterback in general. Like CJ Stroud had one of the better quarterback seasons in the NFL, like rookie, veteran, whatever you want to call it. And for him to get this team to the playoffs, I think is special. They're also AFC South champions, which had a little bit to do with Jacksonville choking, but who cares? At the end of the day, they're champions of their division. With that said, I just think that it's going to be tough for them to overcome this defense. This defense is really good. They can get after CJ Stroud. The defensive line is good. Myles Garrett is good. They got the corners that can match up with guys like Nico Collins on this team. I just think that they're really good. And then on the other side of the ball, you know, if you would have told me that the Browns would be in the situation, one, without Deshaun Watson, and two, Nick Chubb got his leg taken off earlier in the season, and they're still at this point, and Joe Flacco slinging the ball all over the field. They have weapons. They have Njoku. They have Amari Cooper. Like this Browns team quietly has something, and I think it's going to be very interesting to see what they do on the AFC side of the playoffs, to be honest with you. Like, I know a lot of teams don't want to play the Browns right now, like with the way they're playing, with the way the defense is playing and the way that Flacco can, make plays for them. I don't think that they really want to play this team. So I think it's been a great season for the Texans, but unfortunately, I do think that the Browns get them in this one. I think the defense is just going to be too much.
Yeah, I saw a stat. I tried to dig it up while you were talking, but I legitimately couldn't find it. But it's like quarterbacks making their playoff debut versus quarterbacks that like have playoff wins under their belt are like historically horrible against the spread and horrible outright. Now it's kind of an overgeneralization because you would expect quarterbacks that already have playoff wins to be better players by that point than you would like a rookie that's splashing onto the scene. But I do think like experience and just a sense of the moment is going to matter here. Um, Joe Flacco is like a sneaky guy, right? Like, you know what I mean by like guy. Like there's some dudes where you're just like, "Oh yeah, like that's not a bad guy to have be our guy when we get to the moment and we get to the playoffs." Like there's only so many guys who have gotten all the way to the finish line. Joe Flacco is one. Obviously, he's been out of a job for a while up until this season. He's looked great since getting there. Amari Cooper has like blossomed with his connection there. But like, do you trust Joe Flacco just in general from a sense of like that's a good guy to be your guy?
You do. I feel like you have to because of just his age, experience, and I just don't think you have to worry about him losing you the game.
If you were the Cleveland Browns and you have the Cleveland Browns defense and you could pick which quarterback is your quarterback in this game, you taking CJ Stroud or are you taking Joe Flacco?
Hot take, I think I still take Joe Flacco.
I think that's where I'm at too, which is kind of crazy. But I think that the vetty stuff is going to matter here for some reason.
I do too. Playoffs are different.
Yeah, we'll see. Um, what type of numbers do you think the Texans offense needs to put up in this? Because it's highly unlikely. Like some Texans games have gotten in the 40s, deep shots, big plays, things like that. Against Cleveland, it's highly unlikely they're going to break a bunch of those. What's like what number of points do they need to get? What does CJ need to do to feel like they have a chance to win this game?
Hmm. The thing is, like the Browns are no slouches offensively either. So like if they want to get in a shootout with them, I think eventually the Browns defense will get more stops than the other team's defense. So part of this would have to be, I think that um I think the Browns have to win the game. I'm sorry, not the Browns. I think the Texans would have to win the game another way. Like I don't think the way to win this game is a shootout. But at the same time, they don't want to play the Browns game. I just don't see a path for them to win this football game. But I don't think it's a shootout. I think it'd be having to beat the Browns at their own game, kind of like tire the defense out, keep them on the field, maybe a little bit more run game dependent, wear them down a little bit. No, I don't think shootout is the way to do it.
Yeah, you saying that has me all the way out on the Texans. And look,
I am too.
I have loved this team all season long. I think I bet on them more than any other team. And I've loved the talent. I feel like they were undervalued in the market early. These two teams did play on Christmas Eve. Cleveland won 36-24. Cleveland is 2.5-point favorites in this game. This game in Houston. Home dogs aren't
Crazy.
dogs. Home dogs aren't dogs. They're wolves. But yeah, I'm leaning Cleveland pretty heavily. Joe Flacco, 5-0 in his career in the wild card round, by the way. He's never lost when he gets the wild card. What's your formal prediction, and are you betting this one too?
Yeah, I think I'm going. Honestly, I'd go Browns alternate line minus like 6.5. I think they win this game by at least a touchdown.
Whoa. You're really not giving CJ a chance. He scares me more than that. But okay. All right. I'm on Cleveland money line for the record. I feel pretty good about it. A little scared it's in Houston, but we'll see.
You don't like Cleveland minus 2.5?
I mean, it's a key number. It's a key number. For some reason, something's just screaming at me to just root for them to win the game and not need any numbers. That's where I'm at. It's like minus 140 if you do the money line. So I'm rocking with that. All right.